So welcome back to part 4 of the Creativity series, and today 2. Now, yesterday we began to change the visualization just slightly so that you now begin to embrace the difficulty, the obstacle, or the challenge, whatever it is that's preventing a sense of creativity arising in the mind. And there's different ways of doing this. I think sometimes it can appear more as a question in the mind. We're looking for a solution to a particular problem. We're looking for an idea. And if you want, you could even imagine that as a sentence, quite literally, written there in the mind. And that's what floats down, and that's what dissolves in that space of brightness and of clarity. It may be more of a visual image that you have that sort of seems to sum up, seems to personify the situation, the challenge, the obstacle. And it's that image which sort of sinks down and dissolves. The truth is, it doesn't matter too much, however you choose to see it, however you choose to visualize it. That's the important thing. Remember, the visualization is something very natural, very gentle. It doesn't require a lot of effort. And as you imagine it floating down, there's a sense of knowing that in fact already it's starting to change. Something's moving, something's flowing. As it dissolves, you're left with clarity. And it's tempting to think that immediately an answer will arise, but that's not always how the mind works. Sometimes maybe it will, but often it won't. It may actually be later in the day, might even be the next day or the next week, that this process sort of brings about a genuine idea or solution or answer. So not rushing it in any way, but just sitting with that quiet confidence, knowing that something is happening. So just take a moment, as always, just to get comfortable. And when you're ready, you can begin by taking a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And when you're ready with the next out breath, just gently closing the eyes as you begin to become more aware of the other physical senses. And as you bring the attention back to the body now, just starting to get a sense of how the body's feeling. And just to get a clearer picture, scanning down from head to toe, just noticing those areas of comfort and discomfort. As you're scanning, just starting to notice any particularly obvious mood or emotion that's around for you right now. And at the same time, just taking a few seconds to be clear about your motivation for your practice today and the potential impact that a greater sense of calm, clarity and contentment in the mind can have for those around you as well. So knowing, trusting that this process is taking place, but in the quiet space, the stillness of the mind, you find the answer to any potential difficulty. Now just allowing the attention to shift to the breath, that rising and falling sensation, and just taking a couple of minutes just to become more familiar with the rhythm of the breath. And as you follow the breath in that way, a pinprick of light appears in the middle of the chest, middle of the body. It's as though it happens on its own. It just begins to expand in every direction. That sense of brightness, spaciousness, of warmth. The space itself, the foundation and the potential for creativity. So although it brings a sense of stillness, it is at the same time full of potential. Doesn't matter if thoughts and feelings arise in the mind, just allowing those to come and go, seeing them with real clarity against the backdrop of that spacious, bright visualization. All the way out to the arms, the hands, the feet, and up through the neck and into the head. And just take 30 seconds now just to become familiar with that feeling, with that visualization, before just dropping in that obstacle or difficulty that might be around. And now, just bringing to mind whatever that obstacle might be, in whatever form and shape that may take in your mind. And just imagining it drifting down, sinking down. Something very solid becoming increasingly lighter, softer, as it moves into that space, becoming less tangible, harder to define, harder to visualize, as it just starts to melt and dissolve in that space. You can take as long as you need for that to happen. But when it has happened, you're left with nothing but that bright, clear, open space. And you just rest your mind with that visualization. And with a sense that that brightness and clarity is now much bigger than the form of the body itself, just letting the mind wander off and do whatever it wants to do. And then just bringing the attention back again. Back to that feeling of weight in the body. Back into the senses, the immediate environment in which you're sat. As you slowly open the eyes, that seamless transition from meditation to mindfulness as you continue to be aware, clear about how you intend to apply this awareness throughout the day. Clear about where you're going right now, knowing you'll carry that sense of awareness with you. And when you've done that, you can just sit back in the chair. So hopefully today, the idea of the visualization was a little more clear. You were able to bring about a more tangible image in the mind. Remember, it moves from a place of being quite solid, quite tangible, as difficulties and challenges can often appear in the mind, to a place of kind of lightness, where it feels quite intangible and where eventually it sort of melts and dissolves within the space and the clarity of the visualization. As I say, it's not necessarily the case that you'll immediately get an answer. That's not the way the mind tends to work. But each time you do this, you create both a pattern in the mind, but also the potential for this change to take place. The potential for creativity to arise in the mind, and the potential for spontaneity to arise in the mind. So each time you do it, you reinforce that potential. We'll talk a little bit